through 3 hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
All right, welcome to the after show, where usually takes us at least 60 seconds to fall completely apart. It happened before we even got started today.
You want to go to break now? Is that what you're saying?
And it's a wrap. We'll see y'all next week.
I think we're always on break around here. Holy cow.
Gosh.
It's mayhem in the studio. We had one of our lovely callers call us a little while ago. They're not going to make it on the air. Just a nice guy, but he's from down south where I live, and I had to translate for you guys. It was because he was talking about had a wire firing pin, but he kept saying it was a war, and everyone's going, what? I said, it's wire, people. Can you not understand him? When he said war, it means wire. Yeah. It's just like we were talking about Tiger McKee is so funny because he always explains to the class ahead of time. He holds up his index finger. He says, now, this is my finger. He says, so when I talk about finger, I'm talking about this thing right here. He says, because I'm from Alabama and I talk kind of funny. Of course, he's got his own sense of humor about the whole thing, which makes it great. He's got to love it.
The guy that called in is a nice guy, but I have a sudden hankering for gumbo.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. All of a sudden, I got hungry for fried chicken and catfish and gumbo. Man, I'm ready to go now.
Go.
Ooh, speaking of, I have a story to tell.
Okay.
Speaking of good food, my lovely wife, who both of you know, is down in New Orleans this week. It's actually Thursday night, going to a show, went to dinner first, and she's at this very nice restaurant. And just outside the door, there's a shooting. It's 7 p.m. It was one of those, actually turned out to be, well, I guess no shooting is good. This one would be a good one because 2 state troopers are walking Bourbon Street just to patrol, and this guy's driving the wrong way on Bourbon Street, just kind of creeping on, not going. And they walk over to him. Yep. You read about that?
Yeah, I did.
Well, when I first read about it, I thought, oh, it does not sound good, because they said he was moving real slow, and the officer said it looked like he was going to be hit. That was his description of why he shot, but he shot through the side window. And I'm going, wait a minute. If you think you're going to get hit, so you're in front of the car, but then you shoot him through the side window and he's moving really slow, this isn't adding up. And then they posted, fortunately, there were security camera on a local store there, got the whole thing on the security camera. And it was as good a shoot. I mean, I'm looking at it and going, man, these troopers did a great job, because they ran up to him. They're pounding on the car, telling him, stop, stop, stop. And then the guy starts accelerating, and then he stops and accelerates again. They're running next to the car, trying to get him to stop. And he's headed right for a bunch of people. And finally, the officer just pulls out a gun and just shoots him right there.
Wow.
Just goes, okay. Because everybody's now, all the police have to be thinking about those kind of deals with the cars running over people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's sickening.
Lots of weapons.
If you get you know what? They gave you a chance to stop. And then they gave you another chance to stop. But at that point, sorry, you got a 4,000-pound weapon there. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to let you go use that. Good for them. It looked to me like an excellent, good shoot. So now, being New Orleans, of course, the next day at almost the same location, there was another shoot, which wasn't a police deal, but New Orleans actually has a higher murder rate than Chicago.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, what was Pat's take on all of this, having been there?
Well, she had a reservation, so
she said, "I'll have dessert, please."
Nice. Never mind.
Never mind. Pat says, "Yeah, I remember when I was, over at Thunder Ranch with Clint Smith, and okay, no, no, it's weird. They didn't actually know what was going on.
Really?
So they said it was weird because inside the restaurant, they got all these like a light show going on. It's all the police cars outside the window with their lights on. Gosh. The staff was complaining, can't they just turn those lights off? Do we have to have those on all the time? And,
my.
Yes.
Commonplace.
It is quite.
Wow.
Which goes back to one of the reasons I just don't go to New Orleans very often. We live just outside of it, but and some people love it. They say, it's great. You got to know, you just don't go to those parts of town. This is the middle of downtown. Exactly. It's 7 o'clock in the afternoon, or the next day it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
And whether you're a tourist or a local, that's where you want to go.
That's where you are. You're
That's
in the
where
French
things
Quarter.
are. Yeah.
You're in the French Quarter.
Oh.
Now, I'm not a fan of Bourbon Street, but you know what? It's just the middle of French Quarter. It's just where stuff is happening.
You had me up until you said you weren't a fan of bourbon, and you just lost me right there.
Oh, man, no. I always add the street to that because otherwise, yes, I am in fact a fan of bourbon. Where was I just recently? Oh, yeah, I went to Marfa, Texas last weekend. Cool place, by the way.
Marfa?
Really neat. Marfa, Marfa.
Okay.
West by God, Texas, down close, not far from Mexico. But what's interesting is Marfa is at 5,000 foot elevation in Texas.
Oh.
Wow.
I know, high desert. But I was with a fellow there who, let's see, software guy, but also manager of a number of Grammy-winning and Oscar-winning musicians. And out of Marfa, they aren't, but he is. But he started introducing me to bourbons, and he was describing wheat bourbon versus rye bourbon or something else. I'm going, when I was getting educated.
There you go.
So
I actually had a situation arise last night with a Marfa.
oh yeah, you had a thing, and tell you what, hold that thought because no, don't go there. No, I can't hear you. I have my fingers in my ears. No. Yeah, Jim had one of those deals where you're thinking, I'm carrying. He doesn't know it. He's pushing the issue, and he really doesn't understand where this could end up. So let's save that till after the break, and you can tell the story, okay, Jim?
Great. Just great, Tom.
Hope you remember for the whole minute it's going to take us to get there.
Yeah.
Whether you are a first-timer or seasoned shooter, Double Star has the guns, edged weapons, and parts you desire. Our products are made in America and held to the highest quality standards. No exceptions. Double Star and Ace Limited manufactures products people bet their lives on without hesitation. That awesome responsibility motivates the Double Star family, and it will proudly protect yours. When you're ready for the best, join our family at star15.com. That's star15.com.
Hey, this is Marty Daniel of Daniel Defense. For years, we've been bringing the highest quality ARs to our consumers at a great value. Now we're doing that same thing again with our Delta 5 bolt-action rifle. It combines the accuracy and durability we're known for with the modularity of our AR platform. And it comes with the features the best shooters will want right out of the box. Visit DanielDefense.com to learn more. Isn't it time you got a Daniel?
Okay, Jim, so there you are cruising the bars. No, wait.
Yeah, you know me.
Wild man. So what happened? What happened? Seriously.
I was in a all-ages establishment last night, so to speak, and what I mean by that is 21 to 81. Good mix of folks. We were playing there.
Oh, you were playing there. You're actually performing.
Yeah. So I was working.
You were working. You're a working man. Okay.
Yeah. So this guy came in with a couple buddies, and you could tell they were, and I'm not slamming all millennials, but these were three young millennials looking for trouble. And, they walked up to a couple guys in their 80s and just walked past them because they knew that was, there was no
They couldn't
challenge.
get a good fight out of them.
Yeah, right. So, and actually it was just one. I mean, his two buddies were okay. They were playing pool and drinking, no big deal. But this guy watched him just verbally engage with 4 or 5 people before he worked his way up to the bandstand. And then he decided, as we were going to break, that my hair was an issue that he wasn't real happy with.
I see.
Probably because I have it and he was losing his. But regardless, he was, with the nose-to-nose, bad breath in your face kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm
disgusting. So for those that should know that, Jim, you don't drink. You're not an alcoholic.
Well, I will occasionally drink, but I don't. Yeah. I don't get hammered.
Okay.
And when I drink, it's a, hey, we're going to go out to have wine with dinner or something. It's not a let's get a keg of beer.
Right. Okay, so you're working. This guy comes up and gets to bad breath distance from you, and he's what? Chatting about your hair?
Yeah, hey, long hair, blah. And he's a young, short-haired, receding hairline farmer kid, and he didn't like me. Right. Which is fine. That's a lot of people.
Well,
don't like
look,
me.
a lot of us don't like you.
Right,
but that's a different thing altogether.
But you don't want to kill me, right? And in a physical confrontation, training or not, this guy was going to have me, and I knew that. And it's even if you win, you lose.
Yeah.
So as he approached me, started talking to me, I kind of acknowledged that he was there and just backed off a little so I could breathe and gave him the eye contact like I acknowledged him, but I didn't, my eyes didn't get big. I didn't perceive him as a threat. And I just proceeded to look over him and around him as he was talking like he was secondary and he wasn't going to rile me up. If he was going to rile me up, he had exactly what he wanted. And if I just was dismissive.
He was trying to get it to escalate.
Right. And I was acknowledging him, yet being dismissive after that. And he got frustrated. And he just, pouted and walked away.
Really?
And I'm thinking, he probably thinks I'm a girly man, and I'm fine with that.
Sure. Hey, and guess what? You didn't have to shoot him.
Yeah, I don't ever want to shoot anybody, but
right.
I don't want to die either. So, and we just had a guy in town die. He was 39 years old, punched by a 32-year-old. Punched, not stabbed, not shot. Yeah. Punched, died 6 days later in the hospital from head injuries from one punch.
One punch.
Yep.
How many times through the years have we talked about that? People say, well, he was unarmed. Says, yeah, but you know what? You can die from one punch, and people do.
Right. Unless it's from Venus de Milo. She was legitimately unarmed and not much of a threat.
Your turn, Michelle. Reach over there and smack him. Because you do, in fact, have arms.
And she knows how to use them, pal.
That's right. She's well armed. Oh, gosh. Well, Jim, I'm just takeaways from your experience there is one is for people, if they're carrying, to try to find a way to de-escalate it or get away from it. Mm-hmm. And you did an excellent job. But the other is, if you are someone who is prone to go start fights or pick on people, just remember that you can't tell from how somebody looks whether they have training or they're carrying a gun or willing to use it, or frankly, not in your case, but somebody who's just had a really rotten day and is looking for somebody to take it out on. You just picked on the wrong person.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it was weird.
Weird. No kidding. People are strange, and congratulations and a big attaboy to you on how you handle it. Just you essentially made it go away. It's just not even a thing now.
On this week's episode of Let's Not Shoot Anyone.
Yes, exactly. No kidding. It's it's another good day, another good week.
Yep.
No kidding. It's I had a thing. I was going out somewhere. We had kids coming over. We're having a kids party over here, and Pat had already. My gun was in the nightstand where she knew it is, and we had a lot of training. She said, well, I took your gun and I put it away over there because I know the kids are coming over there, and I unloaded it and all. I said, yeah, but I'm going out to buy ice. And so, it's like, I'm not leaving here. I know it's only a mile to where I'm buying the ice and coming back, but boy, if I went there without a gun and I needed it, that would really be embarrassing. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, whatever else it would be. But so it was just one of those little incidents where you go, yeah, I know I'm not going far, but I'm loading it, putting it on, I'm going out there, and then I'll be back.
Yeah, I had a buddy come over the other day. I was making a dumpster run in I know you love sandals, Tom. So I'm wearing these flip-flops and my robe and my buddy.
Tactical sandals.
Tactical sandals.
Wow. I wonder if that guy who likes your hair is listening.
Yeah. I did give him my number for later. So my buddy comes over, and I'm, walking back from the dumpster, and he says, we start talking and stuff, and of course guns comes up because that's all we talk about. And he's like, you have a gun in your robe, don't you? I'm like, yeah. He says, dude, you're 60 feet from the house. It's, what's the odds? I don't know the odds. I don't gamble. I don't.
But, it's easy enough to slip a gun in the pocket of my robe when I go out.
Right. And it's like, oh, my God, I'm going outside. Somebody's going to try to kill me. It's like,
cover me.
It's okay, Chicken Little.
I grab my cell phone, too, I got my phone on me. I have a gun. We talked about a little bit before the show started about people leaving their guns in restrooms and stuff. And non-gun folks, obviously it's not responsible. But the concept is a lot of non-gun folks don't grasp the idea that to us, it is a purse, a wallet, a set of glasses. It's not
just always
separate item. Yeah, it's not a, whatever.
It's an accessory like everything else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
And since I don't carry the purse much anymore,
I know. I'm glad you gave that up.
Now I go everywhere in just a robe and sandals, which gives me...
Yeah.
But I have gotten lots of comments on that purse. Thank you.
That's right. It's funny you mentioned that. So I'm reaching over. I'm grabbing right now. I have the Maxpedition man purse.
Ooh.
these I don't know what people call them, satchels, whatever, that go over over your head and shoulder, and people. I never quite understood this. You wear it kind of on your side. And you can put all your crossbody, and it's got a place for your water bottle and I don't know what else, but also for your pistol. And
so it's a real man purse, just like what a woman would have.
It is absolutely a man purse. But it's got Molly on it, and it's tactical. It's got Velcro where you can put your super duper patch on it, and I don't get it. I'm sorry, I just don't get that. What that's about, And yeah, I mean people send me things, and they send me weird stuff sometimes. Yeah, you ought to try this. Yeah.
But there's a practical place for you to use that. You have to break it down a little bit and think about where you go and what you do. And
there is. It would not be my everyday carry around town. I guess if I were walking out in the woods, that's an option. But then I usually just wear a backpack, and I still have my pistol on my belt where it lives, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then there's the very viable reason of to each their own.
Yeah, but people really should do what I tell
them. To each Tom's own.
Just, look, they need to understand. I'm right. It's just simple as that. They just need to admit that.
Life goes on.
Yeah, if you don't agree with me, then clearly you're wrong.
Sure.
Okay. And I'm so glad that we've covered that.
Been on Facebook a little too much lately, Tom?
I am actually, we're talking about wearing a pack. I got to look into it a little bit more. Thinking about a chest carry rig.
You weren't a big chest fan, though, were you? Oh, you're not a big shoulder
That's a whole
holster.
different thing. No, shoulder holster, not
different
shoulder
things.
holster.
Yeah.
But this would be basically mounted on the sternum.
Yeah.
And if you're wearing just a regular small little knapsack pack, that's not a bad deal. But when it's easy, you can still do belt carry. But if you're carrying a serious backpack, you have the waistband on, and that's carrying the weight of the backpack, and that's really going to interfere with your belt carry.
Right.
And so a lot of people who are doing that are now using chest rigs, and the gun is actually positioned right over your sternum.
I wonder, like on a tailbone carry, when you fall and it hurts, if you land on your chest, if that would give you an extra hello.
Yeah, probably. But, if you're landing on your chest, you're also landing on your face. So, you're just having a bad day anyway. But at least you have you could maybe block your fall with your hands, whereas if you're going down on your back, that's all you got.
Yeah, but easy to get to. You would think, right?
Real easy to draw from. It's just right there positioned. And a lot of people who are hiking out, where there's bears and stuff, that's kind of becoming a very popular way of carrying a pistol.
Probably works great in nightclubs, too. Probably looks really good.
Sure.
You should try that next time you're playing.
Next gig,
especially if you got a 44 Magnum.
Right.
Yeah.
See,
8 3/8 barrel.
Yeah, right. Dirty Harry.
Used to be a very popular way of carrying for Ohio hunting, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, bandolier type holsters that are right on the front of the chest, completely covered, so hands-free going through brush and whatever.
Makes sense.
Interesting. Now, is that for if you're doing handgun hunting or just carrying it while you're rifle hunting?
No, if you're hunting Ohio.
No, it's a weird-shaped state, and it's surrounded by... No, but for people, because in our area where we are, Toledo and outskirts of it is heavily brushed areas for deer hunting. And so, making your way through the brambles and briars and whatnot.
Sure.
Yeah, just hands-free of getting in there without having anything getting caught in the trigger guard.
Oh, okay. And I've been thinking about you guys because I keep seeing you guys covered. You got a little bit of water where you are.
Toledo is the sixth Great Lake at the moment.
Yeah. Mother Nature was afraid our mud was starting to dry out. We are the Black Swamp.
Took care of that.
On a serious note, I hope farmers have crop insurance.
Oh, my
they're
goodness.
Screwed.
Yeah. I don't
all
think,
over the country.
I don't think there's anybody planting, really.
Man,
terrible.
Well, we could send you some crawfish that you could plant. That way, if you got enough mud, you can grow a crop there.
It's a sad
Always
day when
thinking
you're
that
crossing the driveway and the worms are on the drive, like trying to get out of the mud.
Enough.
Good gravy.
Enough.
But, the simplest things, like even somebody pointed out to me the other day, like just being able to cut your first hay, it's underwater. So even that first clipping isn't going to, the first cutting isn't going to come out good.
It's gone, yeah.
It's
exactly
terrible.
Arkansas is just hammered. They just got, and the Mississippi River is so high.
Yep.
We're looking at opening the floodgates here that haven't been opened for 30 years
Wow.
to relieve some of the pressure,
They had a
which will flood hundreds of square miles
Jeez.
and flood people's homes. But they're looking at it going, well, but if the Mississippi River dam, if the levee breaks, then people will die. So we're going to have to relieve this pressure and tell everybody, look, here's the deal. You got 24 hours, and then we're opening the gates. You got to get out.
They had a levee break too, not on the Mississippi, but they had I think Arkansas had a levee break this week.
Oh man, that takes us to the whole. If they say, okay, you got to go, you got to grab stuff. What do you take?
Go back, yeah.
Got to have your man satchel bag ready.
Speaking of going, I think that music is a cue to us.
Oh, man. All right, we'll be back in just a sec here. Don't go far.
Taking the striker-fired category by storm, the CZP-10 delivers what most in the genre cannot. From the superb trigger, to the purpose-driven features, to the engineered ergonomics, the CZP-10 is the complete package right out of the box. With 12+1 capacity in the P10S, 15+1 in the PC-10, and 19+1 in the P10F, there's a P10 for every purpose. For more information, please visit cz-usa.com.
Hi, this is Ryan Gresham from Gun Talk. If you like guns, you need to enter our biggest giveaway ever at guntalk.com/win. One person will win more than $11,000 in guns, gear, and accessories to stuff your safe or hit the range. The grand prize includes a night vision scope and rangefinder from ATN, a custom 1911 from Auto Ordnance, a Crossbreed Holsters concealed carry pack, an FN 509 tactical pistol, the ultimate gun safe organizer pack from Gun Storage Solutions, a custom Glock 22 from Lone Wolf Distributors, clothing, range bags, and more from Proper, Remington's 870 DM and TAC 14 shotguns, plus 2 cases of buckshot, Stag Arms Stag 15 tactical rifle, Tandem Cross rimfire customization kits, a Ruger Mark IV pistol, and much, much more. Go to guntalk.com/win to enter. That's guntalk.com/win.
I know we're back. I just don't want to talk anymore.
All right. Jim?
Okay, welcome back. Jeez.
If I have to.
Back to this, Interesting what's going on with concealed carry guns. I did like our caller who open carries. Mm-hmm. He had some pretty good ideas on that of why he open carries. Mm-hmm. But okay.
Yeah, I always have the perception that it makes you the first target. You're the first person that somebody would want to take out because you are an obvious threat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But perhaps it's the way that he's been trained to carry himself.
Right.
Being lost.
Disposition's huge, but I guess the way I saw it is if somebody's going to come in and start shooting people crazy at a government building or whatever, that they're setting out to be mass murders. In that case, yeah, you might be the first shoot me first kind of guy. On the other hand, if it's just average situation and somebody's getting a little bit mouthy or something, they might be a little reluctant to get mouthy with a guy who's carrying openly.
Especially, as he says, if you carry yourself, and I always say in a professional manner, you dress correctly, and you're carrying your gun in a good holster. And he mentioned a leather strap, so he's got a security feature, retention feature on his holster, which makes sense. I have a fellow I know who says he is certain that he has prevented at least 3 armed robberies at his barber shop because he open carries it. He's had people either walk in and stop and it's turn around and just leave when he said, okay, I mean, it may be profiling, but I know what was going on here. They were coming in to rob the place. And
right.
I just looked and went, no,
well, think about it from a robber's viewpoint. Most of them are willing to kill somebody, but they're not setting out to kill somebody. They want to get their fix, their money, whatever.
Right.
So
they want the easy score.
Right. And they'd rather not kill somebody because they don't want a murder charge on top of an armed robbery charge, but they will. But if they can, it's kind of like, you see an alarm system on a house, so I'll go break into the next house.
Well,
very similar.
that's it. They're going to go take the easier one. So anyway, I mean, I could argue anyway, both ways, whatever, open carry, concealed carry. I've done both. I've always preferred conceal, but I got to tell you, open sure is comfortable.
Well, it's very difficult to carry concealed.
Yes, good point.
It can be very, it can be very uncomfortable in some ways or aspects of, depending on dress. It gets even more difficult with the hot summertime.
And I mentioned I was with Jeff Hoffman last week at Black Hills, and he carries outside the waistband on his Glock, and he just puts on a vest. Most of the time it's open carry, around work and everything, but there are a lot of people there open carry. But when he goes out in public, he just puts on a vest and it's covered up. Done. But it's still a comfortable way to carry. It's also just a little bit faster if you have to get to it.
Yeah. What are the legal ramifications? If you're concealed carrying, but you're not concealing it well, that's not brandishing, you're not waving it at somebody.
Depends on the state. In some states, actually, if you print, even though it didn't become exposed, that is a form of it's no longer concealed, which I think is crazy.
That's a little nuts, yeah.
In some places, if it just flashes, then it's not concealed. But if you're in a state where, like where I am, you can open carry or conceal carry, it doesn't really matter.
Can you do both? Can you open carry and have a backup gun? Well, I'm just kind of going.
You could, or you could be open carrying, and if, for instance, you're wearing a vest and it flops back, and then all of a sudden the gun becomes visible, well, now you're open carrying. Who cares?
When you take your next step, you're concealed, and then you're open, concealed, and open. I get it.
Can't make up my mind.
Walking down the street.
Now you see it. Now you don't.
So you're for concealed carry? Well, yes, no. Yes, no.
Yes, no.
Yes, no.
That's right.
Sorry.
You're doing that whole multiple personality thing again. God.
Oh.
Speaking of personalities, we had a caller. I got to toot Michelle's horn in case somebody didn't hear the real show. We had a caller who was training with Michelle's son this week.
Yes.
That was awesome.
How did that go about, Michelle? Tell me about that. When you answered the call, and what did he start talking about?
A 20-minute call.
Yeah, 20 minutes, right.
While you were prepping him for 20 minutes. Yes.
I didn't know him. It wasn't a setup call.
It wasn't family.
No, the phone rang, and just my usual response, the gun talk. Could I have your first name? And he gave me his name and has said, "Hello, Michelle." And proceeded to tell me that he wanted to discuss with you an NRA event that he had just gone to at his local rifle club, and he said, "Here's my in."
This will get me on the air.
That's right. I can get on the air if I tell her this.
Yeah, no.
But
he said he is working on points for distinguished for his rifleman badge, I would assume, most likely. Mm-hmm. And he's working on his high power. For those of you who didn't listen, it's the high power service. And he said that he'd heard the AMU, which was the Army Marksmanship Unit, was at their local club doing some training, and he thought, I can't pass up this potential of training and level of training that they give.
Right.
And he made it a point to meet my son because he's heard several things with the radio program in the past, and it made me a little emotional.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
so
he's
Sergeant Ben Cleland.
Yep.
On the Army Marksmanship Units out there training folks.
Yep.
That's very cool.
With the rest of his team, and and I think he gave kudos to the entire unit. And as you know, Tom, lots of people who come out of that unit go on to have successful careers, and we hear a lot about them. I mean, men and women in many aspects, not just the rifle, but pistol and shotgun.
Absolutely, yeah.
They're the top of the line, and they will train the civilian to shoot the way that they do.
That is cool. That's the cool.
Like I say, think of them as the Blue Angels on the shooting side of things.
Yeah, he said that he was highly engaged and hopefully can take advantage of the training that was given to him, but time will tell, because that's a lot to take in, and
it is,
and change physical stances of sitting, and because I don't know if anybody's ever watched the high power championships and stuff go on to matches. They start at a standing position and the siren goes off and you're down into a sitting position and you're shooting 2 shots rapid fire, change magazine, and you're off to the races with the rest of them. And then there's the slow fire and prone and the offhand, which is quite difficult for a lot of people. So yeah,
there's a reason it takes years to get to the top level. It's you don't just start off. You have to learn all this stuff. And if you're watching it and you haven't done it, you say, well, what's difficult about that? You're just sitting down. You're laying down and shooting. Big deal, right?
Right. Well.
And the stuff they're working on is so minute.
Right.
Just the slightest little thing they're adjusting, which makes a difference, which makes,
Right.
And the difference between winning and coming in second is a breath of air. It's
Right.
like almost nothing. It's that close. So they have to work on those fine things.
Right. I mean, anybody who just goes to the backyard and tries to just sit down, you realize that, well, where the elbow is placed makes all the difference in the world for elevation. And then you're pointed too far to the left, or, I mean.
Heck, your description just winded me.
It's crazy.
And for some of us, just sitting down and getting back up.
That's what I meant.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
Then there is that. But,
There's that.
I did think, too, going back to the caller who was was police as well, that had called in, was talking about the open carry and the concealed carry. He brought up a great point that, taking part in these different matches and getting involved in these different aspects of shooting changes everything else that you do. It changes your training. It changes the ability to draw from a holster and change out a magazine and whatever it is that, it goes over to real life.
I think anybody who's real serious about this stuff should, certainly get training. But if there's any way possible to get involved in competition, you need to take advantage of it. It's like the best opportunity to practice with a goal, because that's the whole deal. You're practicing with a goal. I want to improve. I want to get better. How do I get better? Well, I'll work on these little things. I'll talk to people who are good at it. I'll watch the people who are good at it.
Right.
I'll learn how to manipulate my gun. I can do reloads. I can do, you're just getting better and better, and it is fascinating. I think you improve, and I was going to throw this out for your consideration. I think you can improve your pistol shooting faster than you can improve any other type of shooting. I think with practice and training, you get better more quickly with pistol shooting than anything else.
Why is that?
Because we are all so bad when we start.
Yeah, you've got so
Seriously.
much room for improvement.
Generally, I mean, when you start off, it's tough. I just see people, when they get some training, get some practice, they get better faster.
Okay.
I don't know. People might argue a different way, but I just have seen that.
Well, you see people come into stores, and I'm sure you've seen it around the country, that, come in and let me look at that, maybe it's the new 365 or whatever it might be. And, they check it. We already hand it to them open, but they check it again and close the slide, and they put it down at their side, and they pull it up, and they're like, nope, it's not on. And they do it again. And they just check the simplest things, like, are the sights lining up where I need them to be, or do I hold it with a cant, or, because guns, you just naturally, different guns with different weights, you just kind of naturally hold differently, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah. And guess what? The gun's probably going to shoot okay. Now it's just a case of you have to adapt to it.
Right.
Unless it's just one that you say, okay, I hate the feel of this thing.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to like it.
There might be that.
And that's legitimate. That's why we have different choices.
Right.
And that's why I've been practicing so much with my puckle gun.
That was quite interesting.
It is.
Seriously, had you guys ever heard of that?
No, I would have never guessed that early in the Industrial Revolution.
1718, the first machine gun.
A flintlock machine gun. Just crazy.
Michelle sends me a private message. I've done the math. It's 9 rounds per minute fire rate.
9 rounds per minute.
Like the best, in the article, it was talking about like the best musketeers could get off 2 to 3 shots in a minute.
Really?
Yeah, so this was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get
although it didn't go anywhere.
A 300% increase in the rate of fire.
Amazing.
Wow.
Or replace your manpower 3 to 1. I mean,
that's true too. Yep, it's like having 3 times as many people. Interesting. The puckle gun. I had never heard of. And at first you're thinking, okay, is this guy punking me? Is this the kind of you Google it up? Go, whoop, nope, there it is.
how many years you been in it, and you're still learning stuff? That's the beauty.
I learn all the time.
Yep.
The great part about getting older is you end up getting to relearn things too. It's like they say, eventually you end up making new friends. All of the people that you knew yesterday.
You already knew, yeah.
No, I'd never heard of
remind me of someone.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, we were married, you know. Oh, okay, that. Okay.
Oh, whoops.
Oops.
We're
Okay.
still married, eh?
Yeah. Oh, well.
Well, we were.
Well. So let's see. I'm trying to think. Have to share this without naming names. Of course, we do all this video production. We do the television shows. We have the guns come in. We have the manufacturers come in. So last week we have a manufacturer come in. This is not, by the way, the first time this has happened. We get the guns in, go out to the range. This was on not the shoot I was on. The other guys were doing the shoot. And the guns won't go off. They were all shipped from the NRA show where all the firing pins were removed.
Yeah.
And
Boy, these are
fortunately,
quiet.
the one of the fellows from the company who was coming, he said, I've been through this before. He says, I actually brought a number of firing pins with me. Seriously.
Really? He was prepared for that, yeah.
Could now, some of the guns, they weren't of the type that you could replace the firing pins on. I'm not going to try to give out much of the detail because I don't want to give away the company. But he did, in fact, have spare firing pins with him. But, I mean, everything they shipped was non-functional.
Right. Were those firing pins made out of war?
Made out of war.
They're war firing pins.
Leads me to an interesting story. Occasionally, a gun will disappear from the display at the SHOT Show or the NRA Show, where all the firing pins are removed. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard to find the people who took them. You just put out the word to all the gun stores in the area if people come in wanting to buy a firing pin.
Oh, gosh.
And they have actually caught people that way.
Really?
Seriously. Yeah.
That's sad.
I mean, how many people walk into a store saying, I need a firing pin? I mean, seriously, Michelle, you ever?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Pretty
not
rare.
that many.
She answers him with, did you just leave the NRA show?
Yeah, right. Especially if they don't exactly know what kind of gun it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but anyway, it's just one of those fun things that happens. You got the cameras out. You got everything's ready. All right, ready to go. Let's go. Right. You draw. Click. And then you think, did I load the chamber? Click. And then you look. You go, this is not good.
Some costly production time there.
Oh well. Yeah.
and take all this with a grain of salt, because this is the guy who's giving you this insight, Michelle, buys multiple firing pins at a time. It was for your 6mm or whatever it was. 5mm? Didn't you buy
for the 5mm?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
bought 400 firing pins. Oh, extractors. I'm sorry.
Extractors. Yeah, we had to have extra extractors for that. I have 2 now, and I just got a notification of another one just came available. So
grab them while you can.
That's right. That's the weak area on that gun. So when you buy 45-year-old guns that haven't been made for 40 years, you get parts where you can. It's just part of the deal. It's like on, I guess, a classic car.
Yep.
You get the parts when you can, and you pay whatever it takes to get them.
Well, you may need them one day. And if not, when you go to sell that car or gun, you can sell them with the spare parts. Here, look what I got for
Or
you.
I can go back on eBay and sell the extractors where I bought them before.
For what you paid for the gun, probably.
I paid almost as much for one extractor as I paid for the rifle.
I bet.
It's like, but if you don't have it, you don't have a functioning rifle. So,
right.
What are you going to do? So there it is.
Okay.
So let's see. I am, I think I mentioned I'm getting another rifle because I needed a rifle.
You were dangerously low.
I was. So we're going to take care of that problem. And I think I'm going to got to call Johnny. Got to make a run out to see Johnny Dury because I need to make some space. So some of these have to go. So I know people say, damn, you never sell a gun. I said, well, actually, that's not true. I'll sell guns so I can buy more guns.
Road trip, Michelle, road trip.
Yeah, it seems criminal. I mean, they make these things that you can add into a house, safes.
No.
Or case additions.
We need to add rooms. Yeah, exactly. I need a new wing.
So are you a wing shooter? Kinda.
Kinda, sorta. Oh boy. Speaking of, if the weather clears finally this week, I may be able to go out and shoot that 28 gauge that I bought 3 months ago.
So you've had that a while.
I have, and it just, this is the insane season for television production. We are gone all the time through the spring.
Yeah, fellas, it's raining like crazy. Load up the trucks.
Right. So, the good news is that we're now at the point where we have to start shipping shows to the network. So if you don't have the video shot by now, too bad. Yep. You have missed it. So now everything's kind of opening up. I can actually go out and do a little shooting, which would be
boy.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a great week. We will do this again next week because nobody's the boss of us and they can't stop us.
So there.
See
Tell
ya.
Ben hello for us, by the way. Tell him we talked about him on the show.
Okay, I will. Thanks.
All right. See you guys.
Be good.
Bye. Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk after show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gun Dealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk after show.